I'm here to tell you that change only comes from within. We keep on hearing change, change, change. We keep on seeking for things to change. However, I'm here today to tell you that change starts from us. Change starts from within yourself, and then you project it outwards. Change has to come with the mindset of the person who is effecting that action or change that you seek to offer or provide. So, basically, we've already understood how we bring about change. That is, it starts from within. It goes forward to tell you that you need to know yourself, you need to know about how you function, how you react to things, and then you can actually take a conscious effort towards, making it greater or achieving what you have set out to do. Okay. All right. So it's more or less in tandem with what I've said here. Know thyself and know thy purpose. You have to see inside of you. You have to do a mental accountability of who you think you are, what you are meant to do, and how do you intend to go about this. Knowing yourself and how you do things is 50% of the work already done. Because you know that this is what I am capable of doing. And if there's a need for you to improve or to more or less take certain actions that you are not already doing, you can go ahead to more or less earn the skills or learn the skills, and then you proceed. Preparing your mind. Once you have figured out yourself, your peculiarities, your strengths, your weaknesses, the next thing you have to keep in mind is your own mind. How do we do this? We can go ahead in preparing one's mind when, even if it means just you going ahead to say, oh look, taking a seat, discussing with yourself that, oh, what do I want to do? How do I go about this? When do I intend to do this? Setting goals for yourself. For example, every morning we wake up with an intention to pray, with an intention to work, with an intention to fulfill any family obligation that we have, or just to carry on with our normal day-to-day activities. So in bringing change, or rather in bringing about change, you need to go ahead and prepare your mind. There is so much that has to go in preparation. You can only get so far, without preparation. But if the mind is prepared, then the body will follow. Self-motivation and resilience. A lot of people don't tend to like motivating themselves because they feel, they're blowing their own trumpets and they don't want to be seen to be proud or egoistic. But I'm here to tell you that your worst critic is yourself. We are very, very hard on ourselves. Take, for example, this gathering here. I know my co-speakers have been sat down there thinking, oh, can I do this? I don't think I can, However, we have been inwardly preparing ourselves to give this talk, saying that, oh, you, Fatima, go for it. You have to do this. You cannot allow yourself to be laughed at because, you're fumbling. So self-motivation and resilience goes a long way. If you are motivated inwardly, you get the backup you need or the support you need by the people around you. And it's more or less something that will key into my next slide. Never say never. Never ever give up. When you have something to do, you never just say, oh, no, I've done it once, I've done it twice, it's not worked. I just want to lay back down. Now is not the time to do so. If you lie down, if you sleep, the world is just going to pass you by. Take, for example, this pandemic. We all thought 2020 was going to end in probably April, May, or July. But what did we do? We went ahead to ensure that, we put things in line, we put the necessary protocols in line, and we also went ahead to ensure that we had the necessary facilities, the necessary drugs to combat any form of transmission of this disease. And here we are to tell the story. So there is a constant need to never give up. I met this lady who was a European, and she had recently moved back to Nigeria to pursue a business in hospitality. So I had a civil conversation with her, and that's when she told me that, she had come back to Nigeria to pursue other goals, and that, she's just turning her life around. This woman is 55 years old, and in my mind, I was saying at 55, some of us at that time, have just let go of life altogether. They feel after having a few children, there's nothing else I'm looking forward to. As some of my mothers here would, agree with me that at 55, 60, 65 years old, you just want to see your grandkids running around. You don't want to suffer. And for me, I also plan on retiring at 40 years old. Anyway, back to the topic. This lady went ahead to cut out all communication, all bad blood, and then pursued her goal. She set out and she became successful, and then she sold it all away. And I asked her, why? She said, well, Fatima, it was not giving me I don't know what word to use, the satisfaction anymore, and I needed a greater challenge, and that's why she moved. If this woman had stopped, if she had waited, or if she had succumbed to her negativity and her loss in her marriage, she wouldn't be here, and only God knows where she would be. Another instance, I remember my first public speaking engagement. I had only 8 hours to prepare, and obviously I was the least qualified among all the speakers there. However, a friend called me up and said, oh, look, Fatima, I need you to just come and take in a spot for one of our speakers. I said, wow, when is it? I thought it was going to be in a week or so, And he said to me, oh, it's tomorrow. I was like, what? Like, no, that's not happening. And the first thing I did was I called up my boss at the time, and I told her, look, there's this opportunity for me to do this. And the first thing she said to me was, Fatima, go for it. This is an opening. This is an opportunity that I feel you should not pass by. I went there, I did whatever the hell I did, I know inwardly I didn't do as great as I thought I wanted to, but there were other people in the crowd that came up and said, oh, Fatima, because of you, I feel motivated. Because of you, I'm going to go ahead to take on any challenge that I have. And sincerely speaking, that got me going. And I was really happy I did that. All right. Staying positive and keeping positive energy. We might not like to say this, or we might not always want to say the truth, but we still have negativity around us. We still have people that would not want to believe in our choices, in our actions, and in whatever we set out to do. My own advice, when you tell somebody how to do things, or you more or less encourage that person to do something, my advice to you is, if anybody walks up to you and says, oh, you can't do this, you're not good enough, the first thing you tell him is, I am good enough, and I'm going to do it, and I'm going to prove it to you that I've done it. That's how you keep positive energy. And if any other person is going to tell you that, oh, look, I don't want you around me because you're associating or whatever the hell it is, you just go ahead and say, okay, I'm cutting you off because you're not providing any semblance of greatness to me. You're not allowing me to succeed. We might think that, that's a bit selfish, but for your own growth, you might need to actually check around you. Find where negativity is and cut it off. And once you do that, the sky is going to be your limit. Whatever it takes. I got this topic or subtopic from a book I read. It was authored by Keith Harrell, and it's called Attitude is Everything. And in his book, what he said was, your attitude determines the action the product, basically, of your action. If you have a good attitude towards what you want to do, no matter what it is, the solution always comes back to you in a good, positive way. For example, he was, flying to attend a public speaking talk as well in that book, and he was narrating what happened. He had gone to the airport, and unfortunately, his flight had been delayed for 5 hours. And luckily for him, he wanted to set out earlier a day before. So luckily, that shift did not affect his speech. So what he did was, during that 5 hours when people were grumbling and being angry at the fact that the timings had been shifted, or the meetings that they were scheduled to hold were not going to hold at that particular time, he sat back down, got a cup of coffee and a croissant, and then he was going through his slides and everything. And then another person walked up to him and he said, oh, it looks like you're having the time of your life. He said, well, at least I'm living. At least I'm alive. You don't know whether or not that particular delay is stopping something from occurring to us. And he said that, I can't remember the date or the year anymore, there was a plane crash that happened, but it wasn't their plane. So in terms of attitude, if they had, or he had, more or less switched his flights to follow another route and whatever, he might not be here to tell us his story. So in adopting the whatever it takes principle, no matter how menial a job is, even it be that you're just opening doors, sweeping, selling, social entrepreneurship, as my co-colleague said, you have to ensure that you do it earnestly. You do it, to the best of your ability, to the fact that, you have done it to the bottom of it before you even, consider, shying away. If you adopt the whatever it takes principle to your daily life, you would definitely see a change. For me, that's what I have done. Whenever I'm faced with a problem, the first thing I try to do is, let me find a solution. What can I do in that instance? Can I go ahead to prevent this from happening? Can I go ahead to change the circumstance even before I think of asking for help? Why? Because the person you're also asking for help has a lot of things to focus on, not you. So why don't you help yourself first, and then you can go ahead to escalate when you don't have, the support, or you're unable to proceed. In adopting this whatever it takes attitude, every one of us will become self-sufficient. Every one of us would know that, look, I am entitled to taking care of myself. I don't have to give anybody stress to think that, oh, my living or my health bills or whatsoever is tagged at any other person. If we adopt this whatever it takes attitude, everyone, I believe, we might not all be the same. We might not earn the same money, but we might be at par. And we might be there to ensure that there is a level playing ground for everybody. Reward for hard work. Success does not come easy. We all know that. But one thing I want you to keep in mind is the reward for hard work is more work. plainly. When you are being identified as somebody that anyone can rely on, when you're being identified as a hard worker, when you're being identified as somebody that everyone can count on, everyone is going to look for you. Everybody associates with success. Nobody wants to fail. Nobody wants to be seen as the one left behind. So you have to work to earn. You cannot sit back and relax and expect things to fall in your hands. It's not possible. We have just heard my co-colleague how he had an idea and he brought it to life. That is what we are trying to prove. We're talking about social entrepreneurship. You create an avenue whereby you fix things. You do not necessarily try and hinder anything. You go for it. And hard work is very key. You have to be hardworking. There's no doubt about that. And with that, and your trust in God, nothing is going to stop you. In conclusion, I'll leave you with two quotes. One I've known at a tender age via watching TV screens. There's this particular movie, The Sister Act. I'm sure the older people in this room know that. And the saying goes thus: if you want to be somebody, if you want to go somewhere, you better wake up and pay attention. In paying attention, you will find the loopholes. In paying attention, you would see where you are needed. In paying attention, you would see what is lacking in your community, in your society, and even within yourself. And in paying attention, you would see and you would prefer a solution. The second quote, this I coined by myself. It says, strive and strive we must, because we were not born to come and play backup to other people's dance steps. I know we all don't want to be the ones at the back. Everybody wants to lead a one-man show, but you can only do that when you have the right mindset. All the people that you have seen that have made it, nobody actually comes to tell you how far and how hard and how dedicated they were. Nobody does that. They only want to see how you're flourishing in wealth and you're enjoying your life and laughter and happiness and everything. Nobody wants to suffer, but everybody wants to enjoy. And that's not possible. We all have to work hard to get what we want, and we all have to work hard to get where we want to be. So I leave you with these pointers to, think on. Now is the time for us to decide. Now is the time for us to act. Now is the time for us to take action. Thank you very much.